Welcome to episode 3 of Ransom Notes. We're on 3, right?
Yeah.
And today we are going to be discussing appraisals.
I don't like them.
Me neither. Back when I started in real estate, and I think this is why they probably changed the rule, you could call specific appraisers that could come in and appraise the home for whatever loan you were getting done. And I don't know exactly how it worked. I just know that agents and relationships had influence on where the appraised value came in. Now, ethically speaking, I think we can understand why that could be an issue. But it kind of went in the opposite direction to where they call in third-party companies now. A lot of times my experience is appraisers, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but a lot of appraisers come from that area, and they don't know block-by-block locations and values. And I've had it affect a couple of my escrows negatively when it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, they don't know that. And also, they can't keep up with the market quick enough because they can only use sold. So, pendings and all that are out of the question. So, if you have a neighborhood that's like growing crazy in the last 20 days, those aren't going to appraise. But then so you have a property that did not appraise, but then the second it closes, the next door neighbor can use it as a comp.
Yeah.
So, it's like, how is that fair?
Yeah, and that's the one thing I always try to do, especially in markets or neighborhoods specifically, where there's not a lot of sales. Like, you almost have to go about it in different ways, but you can't. Like, I've tried pricing homes that had similar upgrades in a neighborhood. Maybe the last one that sold was 3 years ago. So that I just took the overall average of where homes were selling for within a few blocks of that, and then averaged it out on where the homes are selling now in maybe a different reference neighborhood. And then you just adjust it based on the percentage of appreciation. And they go, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why? It makes total sense. It shows you exactly how much the market has come up. So we apply that to the last sale. That's outside of your timeline that you can use, which is, I know a lot of them like to use the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And they can go up to 6, but anything past 6 months, they just will throw out completely.
Yeah, and like I've had a bunch, I'm sure you have, that haven't appraised.
Yeah.
The people still go through with the transaction, whether they had enough down to stay within their range or if they had to put more money in. Either way, they decided to buy the home. Multiple offer situation. It went through. Now that value is in there. The neighborhood's now worth that, according to the bank.
Yeah.
But is it not worth what someone's willing to pay?
That is the definition of market value. So I don't know. Again, I don't know too much about why. I've always just assumed it's because banks don't want to overloan on a property, which makes sense. And they want to be a little bit more conservative. But when you're putting 20% down, I mean, when's the last time we've had a 20%, negative market influx?
Yeah.
So if someone's going to put 20% down and the bank does say they overpaid even by 5%, and the market tanks, like, you still have that 15% in there that the bank can then, if you stop making payments or you're underwater and you want to try to short sale or get out of it, the bank still gets their money.
Yeah, I guess it theoretically would stop people from like scams with the banks. Like, I'll buy your house, I'll put a huge loan on it. We'll say it's worth 10 million, they'll loan on 10 million, and then we just have some backdoor deal. So I understand why they need to do it, but they need to look at more things and I guess just trust the agents that are working that area a little more too.
Well, that's the other side of it. How many agents do you know that are 100% trustworthy?
None.
No, I was going to say, just the vast majority. And people, obviously, they want a house to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they want a closed transaction. It doesn't do them any good by just having a house listed unless they can get business off of it. So yeah, agents, I think, well, I mean, my thing back in the day, and I learned it from a guy I worked with.
Passed down to you through
Yeah,
generations.
So basically, it's like you show up and friendliest guy on earth, coffee, donuts, and honestly, that stuff does influence. The last one we had, there was a house on a major street, and we appraised it $795 first time around. Escrow ended up falling through, and then we were in escrow at $810, which was, to be honest, pushing it for a major street, and for the square footage is under 1,200 square feet. And it was upgraded, but a lot of the upgrades were done like back behind the walls, like the HVAC system, ducting and everything. So when an appraiser walks in, they don't go like, holy shit, oh my God, it's so nice, you put so much money into it. And I think aesthetically, improvements go farther as far as bringing in a higher value.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, where appraisals aren't that accurate. It's like those other issues you talked about, like adding HVAC. I was just in one where they lowered the floor by one step because the living room was a step higher than everything else.
How much that sounds like it costs a bajillion dollars.
Yeah, and like you're not going to see that.
Right.
Or adding insulation to a wall, but those are expensive things to do. Moving a fireplace.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. Water heaters, HVAC systems,
so like
plumbing, electrical.
I'll buy the house that has those upgrades over the paint and cosmetics all day long.
Yeah, I think the smart people will, because those do have lifespans.
Yeah.
And if you catch yourself at the end of the lifespan on your plumbing or your roof, like it's not inexpensive to fix.
Yeah. So what about how many offers recently have you written with an appraisal contingency?
None. Every single offer that I've written where I'm working with the buyer, I've removed it. There's too much competition out there. And if you have an out and 5 other offers don't, what agent would suggest that the sellers go with you?
Yeah.
And even if your price is higher, it doesn't matter because you're already pushing the boundaries in this market on price points. And like you said, we have to use, closed sales. So that means that house entered escrow in a market 30 days prior to where we're at now.
Yep.
And so if we're seeing a little bit more inventory come on the market, maybe the prices were stronger 30 days ago.
True.
So yeah, you just can't do it. I mean, I understand people want protection against having to buy a house that maybe they might have to come out of pocket an additional $20,000 for, but I don't really see anything wrong with it. At the end of the day, you're still getting the majority of your loan in place for that house, and that's where you're taking advantage of the interest rates.
Yeah.
At the end, if you have to say you have to put an extra $20,000 down, well, more than likely your payment's going to decrease, and you're going to have more equity in the house right off the bat.
Well, it should decrease because the loan value's down too.
Yeah.
That's why they're saying it's not worth it.
So I think that's probably a better point we focus on is remove your appraisal contingency and just understand as long as you have the cash available to bridge a gap. I mean, unless you're overpaying like $300,000 and the appraisal might come in $200,000 less, then maybe leave it in if that's some kind of weird situation
And if your
involved
down
in.
payment, I just did one with no appraisal. Their down payment was like 40%, so it's not going to matter anyway because they're
No, it
just going to
doesn't.
change the down.
Yeah.
It's just going to. It all works on a sliding scale. If you're a VA loan at 5%, then you're going to be coming up with some cash.
Yeah, and I just got an appraisal in for a VA loan where we won out against 11 other offers. And luckily it was a client that I've known. He's a friend, so he trusted me. I mean, I was pulling comps all day long. This thing could appraise for $50,000 more than the purchase price we were putting in. But for this specific model, there just haven't been any sales over a specific price point. We went $36,000 over the mark where there was nothing else sold. But I was just confident based off different bedroom count, smaller square footage properties that had been remodeled and sold that we weren't going to have any issues. But that would have been an issue for them because they don't have that extra 35,
But it did
36,000.
pass?
It passed.
Yeah, and even if you remove appraisal, you still have 2 outs.
Yeah, you have your loan contingency in place, which is like the final last step. And if you don't adjust that timeline, you're at 21 days.
Yeah.
So you're within 10 days of closing on a property.
And your appraisal is long before the loan anyway. So
Yeah.
I was like, why not take it out? Like, I don't ever advise to take out inspection, but appraisal, like.
I took out inspection too. I had to. And it was the only way. And so my buyers actually got into escrow without even viewing the property. When we beat out 11 other people.
That's what you have to do right now.
Yeah. So thank you to the agent who allowed us to, and it's going super smooth. We're like 2 weeks in, everything's pretty much taken care of. Their loan's approved, and it was VA, and it appraised.
Well, you have
It
to
wasn't
now.
anything major on the inspection report, so I was just like crossing my fingers, but it did work out. But yeah, that would have presented quite a few challenges had something else come up. But at the end of the day, we still had our loan contingency in place.
Yeah.
And if there was something big on the inspection, all you really need to do is alert the lender that there is this major issue, and now it becomes a condition of the loan.
True.
So, should I have said that?
No.
Oh, now everyone knows my tricks. Well, I have like 1 billion, so I don't care to disperse a little.
That's what we're here for. We're here
All
to
the agents are
provide.
taking notes right now. Never fucking accept James Ransom's client's offer.
We're here to provide information to buyers and sellers. If you're an agent listening to this, please disregard anything
Yeah, we're
was
not
said.
making suggestions on what you should do to get your house. This is merely hypothetical what we're speaking about.
Yeah.
And we do not advise taking these actions.
I think we have one more quick topic, and that's we need help with topics.
Oh, yeah. I posted a little thing on Instagram, and someone told us to discuss Caitlyn Jenner running for governor.
I'm going to be absent that podcast day.
Yeah, me too. It's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah, I'd like to keep this real estate focused.
I actually got some okay ones. The appraisal was a suggestion. Best traits to have for a successful real estate agent.
You're looking at them.
Be a white male over 6 feet tall. I'll cut that.
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable. And I was kidding. That's what I knew you were going to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to end awkwardly. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us.